recently got a blog question from a follower of mine asking about how they could upgrade their HVAC system even though they weren't quite ready to remodel or build new yet. And so I want to talk to you today about controlling your indoor air quality if you're not quite ready to remodel and change that HVAC system. And specifically today, I'm going to do a quick review for you today on the Field Controls Trio Portable. You know, I'm building out my office here, and this Trio Portable has been great filtration for me in this office space that we've been using, even though I don't have the HVAC going yet. Let me tell you a little bit about this. You know, air filtration is incredibly important. And in fact, ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating and Cooling Refrigeration Engineers, has recently changed their guidelines on how much filtration we should put in our houses. They basically used to say that we should put at least a MERV 10 filter in, but they've recently said, look, the research on PM 2.5, that's basically really small particles, 2.5 microns or smaller, the research has shown that it's worse for us than we thought for our health. And the way to get rid of those is really filtration. And so ASHRAE is recommending that we use at least MERV 13 filters in our houses. What if you have an older house? How do you filter that out and do a good job of keeping that air clean? This Trio Portable is a great thing to use. I actually have one of these at my house as well. I've got at least one kid with asthma and at least two of us that suffer pretty badly from allergies, and this has helped us out greatly. Let me give you a quick tour here. This is going to satisfy a lot of the requirements of their bigger units, but do it in a smaller package. This is really not necessarily meant to be a whole house solution, but boy, you can really get a lot of the benefits of their larger ones. If you are building new or remodeling, I highly recommend you check out the Field Controls Trio units for your whole house, but this is a miniature version of it. We've got two stages of filtration here. This first stage here is going to filter things from 5 microns and up, and it's got an activated charcoal on the backside. And here's the one that I really like right here. The second stage of filtration, this is a hospital grade HEPA filter. It's going to go from 0.3 microns. And so this one is really going to filter out those really small contaminants. It also has an activated charcoal on the backside. Very impressive little unit. Now Field Controls has one other trick up their sleeve with this unit. They have a UV light on the top. When this unit's running, you can see it actually on the top of the unit. And that UV light's going to do a couple things for you. It's going to kill the viruses, mold, bacteria that come in contact with that light. And then it's also got a special plate on the bottom, which they call a photocatalytic oxidizer. It's a fancy word for basically saying that this will also neutralize VOCs in your house. So if you have paint odors, chemicals, or solvents, when it hits that UV light and that photocatalytic action, it's actually going to neutralize those as well. Let me show you what that looks like. A couple other stats I like about this unit. The filters last for a whole year as well as the UV light. You can buy a replacement kit to switch those out. This runs at 265 CFM if you're on high. So they say that you can do actually 1,000 square feet with this unit. I have a 2,000 square foot house, and this actually have right near my return on my filter in my hallway. It does a real nice job of giving me some better filtration than my 1-inch furnace filter is going to. The other thing I like about this is it's relatively energy efficient for all that it's doing. Only 100 watts when this thing's running, and relatively affordable, about $700. You can actually buy it on Amazon with free Prime shipping. There'll be a link in the description below if you want to check that out. Last stat I really like about this is it runs relatively quiet. We're going to run it on the low speed, and you can kind of hear that. Supposedly it's running at 48 decibels when it's on low speed and 68 when it's on high speed. And actually at my house, I keep it running all night long at high speed. You're going to get the best filtration out of high speed, and it has a bit of a quiet noise or white noise effect at my house for my kids too, which I really like. But if that affects you, you can just hit it in sleep mode. It's going to drop that fan speed down. This is a really impressive unit, and this is going to be light years ahead of anything that you're buying at Target. The big deal about those small ones that you see is they just don't have much CFM, and of course they're not doing nearly the filtration that this one's doing. This is really doing everything that his big brother does, except on a much smaller scale. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.